Hey everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and I'm getting set up for another scenario. All right, so this scenario is kind of a continuation of the last one that we did on Sunday, that 15 millimeter sci-fi scenario. Now, obviously, you don't have to do this in 15 millimeter. You could just as easily do it in 28 or 32 or whatever you play, 54 millimeter, it doesn't really matter. The scenarios are all relative to the placement of the plot points, the size of the table, and things like that. When we play 15 millimeter, we don't make any adjustments. In other words, the game is set up to move based on the size of the table and the placement of the plot points, not the height of the toy that you're moving around the table. This scenario comes out of one of the scenario books, and I'm not going to tell you which one it is just yet. I'd like to see if anybody out there thinks they can figure out what this scenario is. Obviously, reskinned quite a bit. Obviously, a different location and a lot of other different stuff. But can you piece together the puzzle and figure out what scenario this is? So obviously we have a 3x3 table. I am going to reduce the number of plot points down to 3 to make it a little bit more of a skirmish game rather than an adventure game. So I'm going to place the major plot point is here in the center of the table. And then I'm going to place another plot point over here. And another plot point over here. So those are the 3 plot points for the scenario. The next thing I guess we ought to do is roll for random events. So let's do that. We have our 2 sides from last time. We have our Soviets. So a different force this time, a little bit different than what we had last time. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then over here we have the RSI. And again, some slight adjustments and changes to what they're going to be fielding into this battle as well. Now, this, of course, is happening scenario on Baloric 5. This is the 3rd Baloric War. And, of course, you know, that one was very much at a lot of small border skirmishes, a lot of hit and run, a lot of guerrilla warfare and things like that. So not a full-on war or battle going on here, but very much, and I'll explain a little bit more about the story as I get into it, much more of a almost like a raid sort of deal. Let's get some dice. So we'll roll for random events, see what we get. 4 and a 1. So the RSI is going to have a 4, that's early warning. So that makes sense for them being kind of like their home turf and all. So early warning. That's going to give their leader a bonus on the first peril that they encounter. The Soviets rolled a delayed. So that means one of their models will not show up until turn number 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to roll a D8 here, and we'll just count across. This will be 1. This will be 7. I'll re-roll if I get a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This fellow here is delayed and does not set up until the start of turn number 2. That could be bad. Let's see what happens here now. The next thing we're going to do is roll for starting director, see who's going to be the starting director. The white dice is for the Soviets. All right, so RSI has the initiative this time. They are starting off as the director, and that means that they will actually set up first. For this scenario, they deploy within 3 inches of their chosen edge. And for this, we're going to pick this side over here for our RSI troops. So of course I'm gonna put my think tank right here in the middle, and it's gonna be going pretty much after that major objective. I may put my Psychico over here on the edge and possibly go after this if he has time to do so. And then I'm going to really just put the rest of them out there as a supporting force. So here, here. So they're coming in from the east. That would be the direction of Mogo Bay, further off in this direction. Let's see. And then I have these 3 Rangers this time that I'm going to put out there. Okay, what we're dealing with here. And there they are. All along here. So we have a minor plot point over here. I would like to get it if I could, but the main objective really is to the Fister generator here. We've got to get the shield back up. Now I got to deploy for the other side. Let's see here what we got. Let's go to the top again. So their leader is in the battle suit here. So I'm going to put it 3 inches in over here. They've got a sidekick as well. I'll do kind of the same thing. I'll just put the sidekick where he's lined up with this minor plot point. And then I have some supporting bikes. So I'm going to put 2 with him and 2 with him. And that'll give us something that looks a little like this. So they're going after that minor plot point. Maybe. They may turn towards the middle. It's hard to say. And again here, these 3 have a major objective right there in the center of the table. And one little fellow is delayed and will not show up until turn 2. Now the other twist for this scenario is that on turn number 3, we're going to start rolling to see if a desert gonga has come into the area. As soon as the Fister shield goes down, their plants and their industrial areas really become a target of those desert gongas. So if we have some bad rolls, let me see if I can find him. Where's he at? Where's that desert gonga at? So if he shows up, this will be the desert gonga that comes in. And just so you get a sense of scale, it is going to be an epic creature. And here's what the bikes look like next to it, and here's what the battle suit looks like next to it. So that is the desert gonga. Hey, have you guys seen this before? See, the eyes can light up. Jerry put this together for me and put that in there, so it has some eyes that can light up in there. So that's the red eyes. There's the blue eyes. Very, very cool. So maybe I gave away too many hints now. Have you figured out what the scenario is that we're going to be playing? If we have the desert gonga come on the table, it will basically be hunting anything it can find and devouring everything in its path. We'll just have to see. What do you guys think about this little group of scenarios? I was a little disappointed. I did find some of my old 15 millimeters, and they have these lovely green velvet bases on them. I don't know how many more games I'm going to do of this, but it's kind of disturbing, that velvety green. That's why I love my Super Inviso bases so much, because if I had Super Inviso bases on there, it wouldn't really matter. But now I got these lovely green bases on these models. Let me show you. You remember? See? There they are. I don't know. I'll probably just leave them alone and not mess with it. But yeah, if I was gonna continue doing this much more, I'd probably change those. All right, boys and girls. I guess I could draw cards while I'm here. We know which side is the director, so we can go ahead and look at what cards the 2 sides are going to have available. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to play this live on Sunday. The RSI are starting with an uncanny, a stumble, and a bad news. That's a good starting hand. The Soviets have a stay down, a sidestep, and an out of ammo. Now that's good too. I'm going to definitely change up the think tank, make a lot of changes, I think, from the last scenario. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but just because, I thought more about it and thought, you know what, I want to try this. So for the think tank, it's definitely going to be more of a electronic warfare hacking machine where it's going to be trying to shut down the enemy vehicles and things like that. Now, technically, I'll remind you here that I'm not using the vehicle rules. Although I have a think tank out here, although I got the bikes, although I have the battle suit, all of these are designed purely as characters. So the added toughness of the battle suit, its durability is simply reflected in the fact that it is a higher level character. So it's a sidekick level with a D8 health. And then also because I give it things like the armored ability and make it mounted and things like that. So those are all things that are kind of representing the idea that it is a vehicle or a battle suit, but we're not using the vehicle rules. So I think everything in this scenario that we're going to be playing on Sunday, everything in there comes out of the core rulebook. This isn't really a stretch beyond what Pulp Alley was ever designed to do. This is exactly what Pulp Alley is designed for. One thing I did for the sci-fi setting, and this is something that you're always encouraged to do, is think about things that could affect the setting or the style. If you're doing a post-apocalypse setting, then you might want to have a rule that just applies to that. If you're doing a sci-fi setting or a fantasy setting. So for this, each of the characters are going to get an extra ability. Also, because I'm doing more of a military sort of style scenario, I'm raising the number of slots. Both leagues have 2 extra slots. Not a lot, but again, still very much a skirmish, but giving them just a couple extra slots so I can fit a little bit more toys on the table. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like and get subscribed to our little channel, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.